Hi guys, it's Cindy Leach, your Polymer Clay Tutor, and today's PCT product demo, we're talking about the Polymer Cane Extruder. Now this is a neat little tool that was invented by Karen Troise, and her where she sells them is at KTWearableArt on Etsy. She also sells them on eBay if you want to look for her there. But this is a neat little tool that she has designed because it can be tricky to slice polymer clay canes perfect. So she carries them in a bunch of different sizes, and basically what they are is it's got a tube, an acrylic tube, and an acrylic rod, and they're in different sizes. The small, she has 3 round ones, and they're for doing the round canes. The small one is 3/8 of an inch. The medium one is 1/2 inch, and the large round one is 3/4 of an inch. Then she also has them for slicing square canes in 2 sizes. The small one is 5/8 and the large one is 7/8. Now, when you've got a small little round cane like this, it can be tricky to slice it perfectly. So this little tool will do it quite easily for you. And all you need to do is put a little bit of water, spray some down the center of the tube, and then you need to reduce your cane so that it is going to fit inside of your tube. And this has to be a little bit smaller. It needs to fit down inside. Then you use the rod and you press it down so that the cane is pressed right against the surface. And what you're doing here is you're compressing the cane. You're making it fill that tube completely, and this makes it perfectly shaped. That's one of the cool things about this particular tool. Now you can see this rod is a little smaller than the tube, so I have to kind of go tamp around in a circle because there's a bit of play there, and just to press it down evenly. And you can check the edges to see if you've got good compression. This could use a little bit more because I can see a few little gaps, so I'll just keep pressing around the edges here and completely compress it. Then what you do is you can just use the plunger then to slide the cane out just a tiny bit to whatever thickness you want. So if you want a really thin slice, you only just push it out a little bit, and then you use a sharp blade and you make a slice with it. Now the first one sometimes isn't perfect, but we'll see here. I'll just take a thin slice and slide right down. And I find it quite a bit easier actually to do it up in the air like this, because then I can see the whole surface. So I just slide it down to the thickness. Now if I wanted a little bit thicker slice, I could do it there, and then I could just slide it along and cut it perfectly. Now so you can control it by the thickness, and like I said, because it completely fills the chamber, you have a perfectly round shape. You don't get any distortion at all, and it works beautifully for all the different sizes. And the neat thing, like with a square cane, for example, it can get a little bit, so it's not perfectly square. And when you've got it inside this chamber here, it keeps it perfectly square, so that when you go to fit all your pieces together and you're making, say, a fabric sheet or something like that, your pieces fit really well together. And so that's an advantage to it. Now, there's one little thing that I think is cool too, is that because of the design of this, you can get your cane, you can slice it right down even when it's really, really small. Now this, if I'm trying to hold on to this and I'm trying to cut slices, and even I'm only going to be able to go so far before it becomes extremely difficult to cut. And with these tubes here, you can get right down to the end. And I wanted to show you this neat little idea. One of the things, like I said before, there's a bit of play in here. And so what can happen is when you're pressing it down, you can end up kind of squashing more in the center than around the outside edges. And Doug and I were thinking about this a little bit, and when I came upstairs, I noticed on my table I had an extruder disc. And this is this little steel disc that goes inside the extruder. And I thought, well, if I drop that down inside, that would give a more even pressure to the rod. So when I press on that, I can press the whole thing down perfectly. Now that only works for this particular the large disc, the 3/4 inch one. But another thing that came to mind is I do scrapbooking and stuff as well. And I have sitting around are some Tim Holtz fragments, they're called. And they're these little acrylic discs. And because it's acrylic, I thought maybe I could try one of those. And I found one that fit perfectly inside the disc. Right inside, which was just a coincidence. And that one works beautifully. Then I thought, well, what if I tried to make some for the others? So I took some of the different shapes and I cut them and filed them and ended up making a bunch of little shapes. Where did I put them? One for each of the different size discs. They took a little bit of fiddling around, but I ended up getting them. And so now I can use that to press down. I don't have to worry about the little bit of slop there. And then finally, as just a little way to store them, I found these, they're called photo boxes. They have them in a bunch of different colors. They have them at Michael's. They're for storing your photographs in. But they fit this set of cane extruders beautifully. So I put her Karen's little card that she sends with them in here, and all my little tools. Now, make sure that when you use them that you press them completely out. Don't leave them stored in there because the clay could get stuck in there. And then you can just wipe off the tools with a baby wipe. It also, you can use the little plunger to clean the inside of the tube out with a baby wipe, because it makes it quite easy to get into the inside like that. And then you can store them away however you like. So I hope you enjoyed that. It's a really neat little tool. It makes perfectly even slices, whatever thickness you want. It keeps those shapes perfect, and it can slice your canes right down to almost the very, very end, which means you'll get more use out of your canes. So I hope you liked this video. And if you did, do let us know. And if you have any comments or suggestions for other videos or products you'd like me to test, leave those in the comment section below as well. And don't forget, we have a great resource over at polymerclaytutor.com where you can use the search box and find all the answers to all of your polymer clay questions. We'll see you next time, and bye for now.